And finally, I just leave it out, we had the discussion on the Pledge of Allegiance. I am neutral on this. Wherever we go on, from the board perspective on it, I know we had for and against, but we never went to a vote. Do we want to have a discussion on whether we want to have a Pledge of Allegiance, or are your minds made up and we're not going to convince anybody?
Why don't we just have a vote?
Yeah, why don't we just take a vote?
Okay.
So we all know what the issues are.
I think we all know what the pledge is.
Actually, I don't think that's a thing.
Okay, we should fill you
You
in.
don't need to go through it again.
No,
Oh, no, I
Don't be
know.
hard about this.
You can't vote if you don't know what it is.
Is it-
Do you know what the pledge is?
I kind of know what the pledge is, and I know what state law requires, and it doesn't require planning boards.
Okay.
So it's a decision among members.
I'd like to make a motion that we do not start our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. Is there a second?
I'll second it for discussion purposes.
What's the motion?
That we do
Motion
not
that
say
we
the
do
pledge?
not say the Pledge of Allegiance. I second it for discussion purposes. If there is no discussion, then we would end up taking a vote.
Well, I'd just like to say that
Sure.
I have been contacted by several veterans and many community members who knew about our issue and who have supported the pledge for the people that would like to say it. And I would like to support that and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I think the Pledge of Allegiance was thrown out of public schools. If people want to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, it doesn't bother me. I don't think that it's making anybody pledge anything has any meaning whatsoever. It's some kind of it's showing something to themselves and people of like mind, but it's not a binding contract. It doesn't do anything. It's just, to me, it's a total waste of time. And you know, in one respect, it's a group pressure thing to make you agree with somebody. And if you don't stand and say this, that somehow you're against. And I don't think we need that. I think that we're all adults. We're all here to do a job, and whether we pledge allegiance or say we say the Pledge of Allegiance, or we don't say the Pledge of Allegiance, or if we get up and walk out of the room, it doesn't affect our ability to do our job here.
I agree with what Lyle said. I mean, I love this country, and I don't see any reason to say a pledge to it. I think that's opposite to the principles that this country was founded on. But, you know, I respect the rights of other people to say whatever they want, but I don't see why at a planning board meeting.
So I grew up with the Pledge of Allegiance. In a lot of scenes, it takes 15 seconds to say it. I think 14 seconds to say it. I don't think it hurts. I don't think in today's world anybody gets insulted if they see somebody not say it. So
Well, I don't think that's true
I
at
don't,
all.
you do?
I think, as evidenced by our former, discussion, I think people get really offended if they see people who don't say it.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you've seen any comments on the new Paltz page recently on Facebook, but
No, I'm trying not to go on that page.
probably smart, yeah.
But anyway, I mean, it's a very short thing. I don't.
I guess my issue with it is that I do think it divides us. Like, we're a board that we all really do get along, and I think that, we don't really have big fights here, even though we disagree with things. And I feel like this funny little thing, it's like, who says the pledge, who doesn't say the pledge? Like, if you're in your home, you're in your whatever, like, do whatever. This is a public place, and why have a pledge that we all need to stand and, it's like, we've been doing our jobs. We get along. We're all human beings. We know that. Why do we need anything else? That's my view.
This is a government meeting. We do have a flag right here. I previously was a commissioner on our town police commission, where we did say the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm also a member of the Democratic Committee in the town of New Paltz, and we say the Pledge of Allegiance. And for me personally, coming in off of the street and coming into our government and a public place where we all work together, I feel that it helps me kind of transition from outside into our government, because here, you know, we are all working together for the town of New Paltz.
Well, then you're free to say it,
And I'd like to
you
say
know?
it,
But, you know, I don't think,
and you don't have to say it.
Okay. We got both, let's get some other, Tom, anything? I'm for saying it at the beginning of the meeting. Michael?
I'm more convinced that we don't need to say it, but I have to, if it's a divisive issue, I'm inclined to say, go ahead and do it. Having served on the village board, and watched other elected boards who are required by New York State law to start their meetings with the pledge. You say it and you move on. And I think if we started doing it after a while, it would probably, for most people, just be one of those things you have to do, just like approving the minutes.
but it's not like approving the minutes.
But it's not like approving the minutes because it has significance for people. And so, and I do think that if we're gonna do it, and some people choose not to, that creates an issue, like Roberta saying, it creates a wedge that's unfortunate. Yeah, I really do, because it distinguishes people and then people in.
But we say it out of town, and nobody feels badly. I mean, I never hear anybody
Yeah,
saying
but it-
anything about anybody in
But
the
it's
town.
required by law that you say it.
Right, but I don't, if there's somebody that doesn't actually say it when they're saying it, I don't ever see anybody picking on that person.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I've never heard anybody talking badly about anybody because they didn't say put.
Well, that's good.
She said it's required by law.
I believe that's what I read.
In the town,
Is that for
town,
elected boards, like,
I'm not aware of.
I
any
think that
law
is the,
requires it.
yeah.
then I'm remembering
I
something
think it's
that
custom. I think it's a legal requirement.
okay. I swear.
I think there's a.
I'm probably not remembering correctly, so I remember looking in when I was on one of the NICOM, New York Conference of Mayors, books about, public office. I seem to remember that. It may not be true, so.
Could be true. I'm not aware of it.
So, anyway, but the point is whether it is said routinely. So. Okay,
Okay.
anyway,
Okay, I guess,
I guess we need to vote.
probably in the same boat with Michael is, I don't want to create a division on a group of people that are working together very much on it. I will point out, I am a veteran, and
Are you so offended?
no, I'm not offended, but I know there is I agree with you in that if 5 people stand up and 2 don't, it sends a signal, and I think that's the problem with it. And I don't want to put people on notice or that they are or are not for the Pledge of Allegiance. I think it's, unless the board can agree to stand up and at least face the flag and put a hand on the chest, whether they say anything or not, that's up to them. But I don't want us to begin a board that, with some members standing and some not. I've gone through enough of that as a child of the 60s. So I will vote for saying the Pledge of Allegiance if we all agreeably stand up and face the flag.
As
Well,
a
we got-
child of the 60s, I was taught to not do that. Sorry, my friend.
I know, that's how,
Well, we have a motion on the floor, so.
the motion on the floor is to not say the Pledge of Allegiance at the start of the meeting. All those for, raise your hand.
For the motion.
For the motion to not,
It's a double negative. All those who for the motion not to say the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of the meeting, raise your hand.
But to still have a spirit of collectiveness in our hearts, I might add.
All right, I'm going to take a motion to adjourn.
Second.